Hi, welcome to my basement. It is now the 3rd day of December 2018, and it's time to give you another update on the status of my HOn3 Rio Grande Southern 1st District Model Railroad. The last update was toward the end of October, so I've made a little bit of progress over the last couple of weeks. Okay, so here's sort of the overall when you first walk into the basement. So you'll notice that the main thing that's been accomplished since the last update is the addition of the Ridgeway Peninsula benchwork. And I've already started laying track in Ridgeway. I've got 4 tracks that are now permanently installed and wired, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to lay out the engine terminal. I'm trying to make it as close to the real Rio Grande Southern track layout as possible, but it's probably going to be a while before I actually finish this up. The turntable needs to be built, and this is a Kitwood Hills model from England, actually. Great looking kit, very well engineered, but it's not going to exactly fall together, so there's a lot of work I have to do on that. I'm going to have to scratch build a model of the Ridgeway engine house, and I'm probably just going to build 4 of the stalls for the roundhouse. Along with some other engine terminal trackage, will be the elevated coaling track. The sand house is pretty much done. This is just an old Atlas water tower that's standing in right now. I actually have the Banta Model Works kit for the roofless Ridgeway water tank. So in terms of what I've done here, you'll see 4 tracks here. Number 345 sits on the Denver and Rio Grande Western Ouray branch interchange. Then I've got a staging track. The passenger train is now sitting on a passing track. And of course the RGS main line comes on through to my lift out section. So I can actually run a train in a circle now. It goes all the way around and at a normal track speed without any sort of slowing for yard limits or a stop for a brake check at Lizard Head Pass. Takes about 5 minutes to make the circuit. So here's the deal. This just lifts right out, and you can see I followed Ken Patterson's technique on what's neat in model railroading. And so you'll see some holes here and some magnets. The things that are painted over are the magnets, and then the holes are actually furniture pins, and they connect to the male pins on the bridge. Now here's what's neat about those. Because they're metal, they're conducting, and they actually carry power to the lift out bridge. Now, one other thing I wanted to make sure of as an added safety measure, and you see it snaps in pretty well, you almost can't see it, and the trains will glide right over that. I wanted to make sure that I had a section of track. So this rail right here actually is electrically isolated, and the circuit's completed through some wires here, which by the way, I'm going to probably scenic this whole section here with some weeds and grass and whatnot and some cinders. But basically what happens is if you lift the lift out bridge, it kills power to this rail here, this one here, and then also this side here. And that way, hopefully, it'll keep a train from kind of running into the abyss here. Won't stop a backup move, but you know what? Cabooses and cars are cheaper than locomotives. So that was a risk I was willing to take. So as we duck under the lift out section, you can see, oh, by the way, notice that the fascia is all done. It's all installed, it's all painted. I'm probably gonna have to do some more touch-up paint as I scenic, and I tend to be kind of sloppy, so I figure I'll probably still have to hit that can of paint a couple more times. So the trackage through Rico is all complete. And you'll also notice here I've made a little more progress on the Rico engine house since last time. Still needs a roof, still needs all of its doors. So, but it's getting there slowly. I still need to put some scenery back in here, of course. I did add a little bit more to the backdrop, give it a little more of a dramatic mountain backdrop. And then coming through Rico. Now here's some things that I've done. This is a Grant Line No Problem Joe's miner's cabin that I've turned into basically a stand-in for the Rico section house. And it looks good enough. I'm probably just going to leave it there. Now, here's where I'm starting to depart from prototype. Since the real town of Rico sat behind the behind the depot, and it's kind of really hard to model that with the little bit of space that I've got, and I really wanted to have a town scene here, I decided to kind of put Rico on the wrong side of the track, so to speak, on the Dolores River side. Now, this is one of those Grant Line Gomez store kits that I actually I made signs in PowerPoint for the Engle Mercantile, which was a very long-lived and important store in Rico. And like a total tool, I misspelled the word mercantile, so I'm gonna have to burn off another copy of this thing and glue it back on. And this is another one of those Main Street models kits here, Main Street Heritage models, based on a building in Silver Plume. It's not done, obviously, but I'm working on trying to get this sort of peeling paint, peeling clapboard kind of look, so hopefully that's working out. And then back here, another Main Street Heritage Models kit. This was a SodaWorks kit, but I decided to turn it into the Rico sampler. It's actually pretty close to where it would have been in the real town of Rico. I have no idea what the Rico sampler even looked like. Haven't been able to find a picture of it, but you know what? This works. And if you don't know what a sampler is, it's kind of like an assay office, but more on a more industrial scale. So when a mine company would find a new vein, they'd bring down ore samples and they would be measured for purity and all that good stuff. So starting to look like a mining operation here. I did actually kind of retouch up, or I don't know if that's a word, the colors on the stamp mill here for the Rico Propatrium mill. Coming around the tracks here, haven't really done much work here. Other than I did put some signage on the fascia, so you can see this is bridge 57A, and I think actually it's 57B, so I might have to fix that. 57B I think was the straight one. So speaking of station signs, see, these are based on the real Rio and Southern station signs, and what I've decided to do here is just kind of put them anywhere that I have a recognizable location. So Lizard Head, obviously, this is the Lizard Head up here. And by the way, sorry about the shadows there. This will eventually be flush with the backdrop at some point, but I'm hesitant to glue the photo backdrops to the wall until I'm done with the foreground scenery. Moving along, also you can see that all of the Digitrax panels are installed. Haven't made any progress at Ophir, sorry, or any progress here. This is essentially the closest thing to a finished scene I've got. Still needs aspen trees though. Coming around to Windy Point, and how do I know I'm at Windy Point? Oh, well, because there's a sign there. And then moving around to Placerville. Now Placerville, what I plan to do here eventually, probably, is kind of cut in a little siding here, and then put in a very short 1 or 2 car spur, and then I have the Timberline model kit for the ore loading tipple that was associated with the Primos chemical company that rumor has it was used to load the ore that was eventually refined into the uranium and plutonium that was used for the atomic bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, this is the Placerville Warehouse. It's actually a Walters kit, but you know, with a little bit of weathering, disguise it, it actually looks quite a bit like the freight warehouse that sat behind the Placerville Depot, which I've made 0 progress on. Stepping back here a little bit, you can kind of see how the finished fascia looks with the command station there for the DCC. And then I've also got, so I've got a power switch there so that you can use the programming track, which happens to be the spur where the tank car is sitting. And if you've forgotten, there's how you know. It's the Placerville spur. Coming into Placerville, really no forward progress here in Placerville either. But then swinging back around, here we are again in Ridgeway, which is where actually I've made most of my forward progress. So what I've started doing here is using kill switches, and I learned the value of kill switches from the modular railroad group Slim Rail that I joined a couple months ago here in Colorado Springs. And so the deal is here, if I don't want to cook a decoder, I've got an engine, say, idling on a track, I don't want to hear the sounds, I don't want the decoder taking current, I can just turn that off or turn it back on, and then I've got some touch-up work to do on the fascia. And you can see, basically, they're just cut into the main bus wires, and so they just act as a very, very simple circuit break. And I'm doing the same thing over here for Rico. Haven't cut them in yet. As ugly as that looks, it's actually not that bad. There's just basically 7 pairs of wires, and they need to be cut into the bus wire, and then they're already soldered to the switch. So you can see here, this is the track diagram for Rico, and then the corresponding kill switches for the different tracks. I don't know if these are the right names for these tracks. The Rio Grande Southern actually just numbered their tracks, and since I haven't modeled every single track in Rico, the numbering won't make sense, so I gave them more descriptive names. For example, the relay track is where I plan to park trains or cuts of cars that are to be handed off to or dropped off by 2nd District trains coming up from the Durango end of the railroad. Let's see. And I think that's probably gonna do it for this particular update. So again, here's the lift out section. I could use it as a duck under, or I can use it as a lift out. I'm pretty lazy, so normally I'm gonna use it as a duck under, but anytime I might have visitors or folks with bad backs or whatever operating, it can lift out. That's gonna do it for me. So not a lot of updates on the rest of the layout here, but definitely getting Ridgeway in and being able to run a train completely around the loop. That's definitely forward progress, and I'm feeling pretty good.